Hello and welcome. Today's video we are comparing the shiny and the matte Brutfuner squares. So you guys know I use my Brutfuner squares a lot. I really like these pencils because I am a little bit obsessed about them. I actually have a few spare boxes of these that I've purchased. And I noticed one time when I opened one of my boxes that the new ones, they're shiny. So as you can see, the outside shell of these pencils are different, and it really got me wondering and thinking whether they'd messed and or changed anything with the pencils I love. So on the left hand side we're working in the matte pencils, and then you'll see me currently working on the right hand side of this page with the shiny version. I'm going to half and half it, and we're going to compare what we end up with. I've just popped a really simple marker base down. It's Amazon paper. I'm going to make it as difficult as possible for them, and we're going to see what happens and what we get. So that is the right side. I've chosen 3 simple oranges. I've gone with 098, 091 and 108 on the left and right side, and we're just gonna, we're gonna do the orange, the purple, the green, the blue and the brown, and just really see, how they work and how they feel. So the one thing right off the bat I will say, the barrels are, for quite a lot of the pencils, a different colour. And personally, for my own preference, I find the matte version to be a bit closer to the true colour. They're a budget pencil, so they don't match their colour. They never do. So it's you need a swatch chart anyway, but I did find the matte version colours a little bit easier to kind of tell my light from my dark colours. So all I'm doing now is I'm working on this left hand side with those same 3 orange shades. I've pulled everything out beforehand like you saw at the beginning, and we're going to do this. I was tentatively hopeful at this point that, they were going to be the same. Into the oranges, I didn't notice any difference in the colours. I laid my medium dark and light down as I usually would do over that marker, and as you can see for yourself, the right hand side's looking lighter because I've put that light tone down already, but as we layer in the layers, they're starting to look exactly the same. I had my lamp on because I was colouring at night, so you will see shine on the page. That's just my light reflecting. It also reflects the same both sides, as you'll notice through the drawing. So they're laying down the same sort of layer on the page. They both sides have that kind of top layer shine and sheen to them when it catches the light. So I really didn't feel any difference to these. They're building up the same, they're as crisp as each other, they're the same kind of bright colours that I've come to know and love, and they really did perform both sides with the oranges on that on that Amazon paper, just the same as I would expect. And we're going to try these greens. So I've got 2 greens here for the bushes down in the bottom. For this I use 094 and 082 this time. So I'm going to just pop all my shadow in everywhere. You will notice I do not colour this fast. I've pre-recorded the colouring itself and then sped it up for you guys because nobody wanted to sit for 40 minutes and watch me colour 2/2 of a page at normal speed. So you will notice my little supersonic colouring speed happening there. I just thought this way might be a little bit more interesting for you guys. And so obviously again we're going over the marker base there, and just working our colours in. The shadow's going in really nicely. I'm not noticing anything. Obviously this is the shiny side, so these are the newer version of the pencils, and you know, they're laying and working the way I would expect my Brutfuners to work. I was enjoying the page. I had the telly on, I was watching a little bit of something and colouring away, and I remembered to turn the camera on for you guys for once, so that you could come along on this journey with me. I've managed to get myself a spare, oh well, sorry guys, you're going to have to bear with that a little bit, a spare recording arm to kind of facilitate a little bit more footage. It means when I'm sat downstairs colouring, I can pop my phone onto the arm and add in some, you know, some extra colour alongs and some extra footage without having to go and sit upstairs in my craft room on my own son, all on my Todd. And it just means that, you know, when I'm picking a page to colour, you know, more often I'll be able to gain some footage so that you guys can see it coloured. I realised that if I turned my camera around at this point, that it let me, what's even the words here? It let me move the camera itself, a part of the phone, to the other side, and because I'm left-handed, it means, of course, that you can then see my colouring properly without my hand constantly being in the way. Unfortunately, what that also means is the rest of this footage until the end is upside down. So I'm sorry about that, guys, but obviously you can still see what you need to see. All it means is that now the matte side of the pencils is on the left. No, is on the right, and the shiny pencils are now on the left as you're looking at the screen. So we'll continue and pretend that massive faux pas hasn't occurred. My bad, should have known better than to mess with anything in the middle of colouring something that can't be undone. I do it every time. Again, these two colours, you know, they laid down beautifully over the pen. They laid down the same, the highlight's lovely, even the shine that I'm noticing on the page afterwards, looking at it now, is the same. The pencil consistency, they feel the same, they look the same. The colours seem not to have been changed. Neither one of these two looked any different than you know, either side. Again, guys, there's just, you know, you'll just see me colouring and shading and playing and messing. So on a separate subject, I hope you're enjoying seeing more colouring and more of this kind of footage video from me. The new recording system means that I can create more of these. Obviously, hopefully in future they won't be upside down at any point, but you know, we learn, we do these things, we watch them ourselves and then realise need to not do it that way again. As always, you know, I don't know if I said this, but this is the new Reptiloids 2 book by Vassal Psycho. You know I love these books. This is actually the first page I've managed to get done in this book, and it was a buddy colour, so I feel like, you know, I've really excelled at getting stuff done in January with this video. I got a buddy colour done, I've cracked open a new book, I've done a video that's been on my list to do for ages to get these pencils compared. I promised it to you guys ages and ages ago. They've been sat, I pulled the pencils out ages, they've been sat there on my desk waiting for me to get around to it. I even don't know the marker colours that I used on this page because it's been so long since I based it, ready to do this video. I've accidentally put them away and I don't even have them anymore. So I've moved on to the skin at this point, and skin colours, in case you are interested, in the greens here, I'm using 043, 04A and 115 this time, and I'm just doing my skin the way I always do. I'm popping my dark colour first. You know I work dark to light. I know it is what it is. I'm self-taught, so we tend to do it that way a lot more often. I'm adding in my shadow areas, giving him a little bit of shape, just a rounded edge to the legs. I kind of bring it around in the bottom as well, so it looks like it comes to kind of an ankle area, and then I'm just highlighting the middle of that calf there and doing the same for kind of his little toes, just making them look a little bit rounded by adding that lighter colour on the top of them and kind of working around them in little circles in my dark and medium tones. Don't worry guys, I haven't done this whole page with you. I've picked a patch of orange, a patch of green and a patch of purple both sides, and then we will flip to the finished page at the end. I just wanted you to see the different colours go down in little patches so you could, you know, properly see that I'd done what I said I had and didn't just say, yeah, they're the same. So I've now swapped to the left hand side of my page if it wasn't upside down. So I'm on the original matte barrels here. I'm using the same 3 colours. Ignore my dog, he keeps deciding someone's at the door when they're not. And again, just laying in my dark shadow, giving him a rounded shape by just edging everything, and then I'll come in with the medium and the lighter toes. I'd left his little claws because I was going to black them out with some Sakura glaze pen, but in the end I decided to do that on the bicycle tyre instead. So when I was done, I just added a little bit of light green highlight to those little nails just to make them look like they were shining a little bit, and I just kind of left it at that. So again, you'll see, I know it's hard to notice because the light's shining on one of his feet, but I promise all 3 of those green tones went down again exactly the same. They all match, they all performed the same, and the colours came out exactly the same side by side. And this is the point where, you know, once you get a little bit of a way into your page and you start feeling like, oh yeah, he's looking good. He had little feet, he had some bushes behind him, he had that cool super cape, and he was just starting to look a little bit 3D, a little bit interesting. And I haven't coloured for the Christmas week. I've been kind of busy, kind of doing other stuff, relaxing. I've been off work, so I just really chilled, to be honest, for the week, and I haven't coloured a lot. So this is actually my first page for January. It just got me back into it. It's given me the bug again. I love, you know, once you start making up a page and they start to pop and look 3D and the shapes all come together really well. And when you're done, you look at it and think, oh yeah, I like how he came together. I like the shading I've added. So purple, guys, we are... Let's see, the colours I used for the purples are 113, 017 and 019. We're doing, again, the shiny side first. And I've got kind of a deep, cool toned purple, and then I've added a medium, kind of a warmer, reddy purple. And then my pale purple was quite a cool tone again. I like to do that. I like my medium tone sometimes not to be in the same colour family as it should be. I like to add a little bit of a different tone to it. I think it gives a little bit of warmth, a little bit of interest to especially fabrics, I find, and it just really changes that colour. And I'm just popping my highlight in, same as always. We're just going to bring that knee forward so it looks like it's catching the light a little bit in a couple of places. And as always, guys, same info as always. You've got to go back in with your darker colour, deepen it up, add it back in. It will lighten it when you've led other pencils over the top. So I'm just popping that shadow back into place like I usually would. And it was fun to do, not gonna lie. I enjoyed this page. And these pocket size books, you know, I'm really getting into them. You guys know I'm obsessed with my Enchanted Pages book. I've been working in it a lot. I know the Amazon paper is a deal breaker for a lot of people, but I suppose I've coloured on it so often, and especially now that I lay a marker base down, that means you don't need to put as many layers of pencil on, so that the Amazon paper doesn't become quite such a beast to work with. I'm just kind of used to it. I have found, strangely enough, on this paper, I prefer line art to grayscale. I love the Christine Caron and Derya Kakirsi grayscale, mainly because they use that slightly nicer, shinier paper for the portraits, so they turn out really beautifully. But I've noticed on this cheaper Amazon paper, when you're working with pencils, it's just the grayscale for me. I don't know if it's because I've been colouring more now and I prefer to add in my own shadows and my own depth and create the picture that I'm seeing in my mind, or if it's just the fact that I'm not as keen on the way the pencils lay over the grayscale on this paper type. But I found myself more and more just sticking to my line art drawings in these books. Simpler pages, caricatures, simpler portraits that are just a little bit easier to play with, a little bit more fun. And yeah, I've been buying more of the little books as well, I've noticed. Obviously, we want to follow our interests, but we all have busy lives and things going on, and it just means we don't always have time to, crack out a Kirby Rosanus or a Tomislav Tovik book and, spend our entire month, in my case, definitely will take the month, very slowly plodding through a page. It just, for me, it kind of hurts my enthusiasm if I feel like I've gotten to the end of the month and I've spent hours and hours and hours plodding along, working on a project and not really felt like I've, accomplished anything or got anything done. So I just find these pages are absolutely gorgeous, kind of filler pages. I'm not mean filler as in, they're not beautiful pages in their own right, but just, I can come in and out of a bigger project into something like this, feel like I've still got some stuff done for the month, really enjoyed myself, kind of giving myself a little bit more free range. There's less pressure because it's cheaper Amazon paper and they're really readily available. Worst case scenario, I mess this up, I could commit the ultimate sin and rip my page out of the book, pretend it never happened, or I could very easily and readily replace this book if it was such a big deal. Whereas I feel like the pressure's really on with things like Mouse Guard, which is hard to get, or Clara Markova books, which are just so expensive to kind of transport across. Delivery now, it's just I'd be very upset if I was getting into that kind of a mood where I was a bit fed up and I was speeding things up and not doing them properly, because I just every so often get to that point where I want something done. So I've learned my own colouring style in that way, and I step away, I put the page down, I leave it alone. If that means not touching it for a month or a year, then it is what it is, and I just move on to some of these simpler projects and enjoy myself. And then I find it pops that mojo right back up and I can pull that big page back out again. I keep mentioning it because I'm working on a Tomislav Tomic page at the moment. It's my first one of his pages and they are gorgeous. I'm feeling the pressure and I'm not that far in. I've got all the greenery done. I'm working on some flowers. I've done a little bit of the banners on the page, and I get to that point, and then I need to stop for a while. I need to do something a little bit easier, a little bit simpler, just to, just to remove some of the terror of once I get fed up, I start to rush things, and I inevitably make a mess. Again, that's my dogs. There's no one at the door, so ignore them. I'm sorry about that. I take it all back. There was actually someone at the door, so my dogs are looking at me like, see, we told you so. It was the postman. Of course. So where was I? Let's see. Yep, so we're moving on to the browns now. I do really like how this frame turns out. The browns I've used are 114, 022 and 117. I can't provide the alcohol marker bases, and of course that will change your colour blend slightly, but I will still put the pencil colours that I've used in the box down below in the description, just in case anyone is interested. It's up to you guys then what you do with that. So, there's definitely no one there this time, to be honest. So let's see now. Where am I at? Yeah, so I'm working slowly. I'm just going to do a couple of pieces on each side on this border, so that again you can see kind of the differences I was going to say, but realistically the similarities of these pencils. Again, we're shiny and matte side, 1 for 1, and just showing that there really is no difference. So definitely for me, the conclusion of this is a big phew. I'm very relieved. I can put my pencil box away on the top of my bookshelf in the comfort of knowledge of the fact that they are my beloved Brutfuner squares. Nothing has changed, they're the same. The barrels, albeit slightly bit more annoying in the colour tones, are completely, you know, the same as the trusty Brutes that I have come to know and love. I love the reddish brown tone of this wooden border that I ended up with. I'm glad I picked this trio of browns. It really did turn out rather nicely. I've just realised that I did put the blues down and forgot to tell you the colours. So the blue set is 039, 029 and 038. And again, that is it. That is all the bits and pieces. So I will show you the finished page. I'm going to get everything all coloured, and then you will see that this is the right way up how my little guy turned out. So as you can see, he looks completely the same left to right. You'll even see that the sheen left by the pencils looks the same. I'm quite happy that